I'm Chelsea Amber.
And I am Nate Savage, Chelsea's husband. We're gonna show you, I guess the main point of this video is obviously to learn how to play the song Oh Holy Night, but it's a really good opportunity for us to show you what to do when you're playing with another guitar player, because Chelsea is going to be playing like all the open chords and singing. She has her plate full with that, but I'm doing more of like fingerstyle, like accompaniment stuff. So it's really complementary to what she's doing. It fills things out a little bit more. I guess the first thing we should do is teach them the chords, or show you what chords we're playing. What key? We're playing a D, right? And you're using like all open D chords.
Yep.
I am going to be teaching this in the key of C with a capo on, a capo 2, just because the key of C is a really easy key to learn it in. And the main chords you need to know for this, there are quite a few of them, are just a C major, an F major. I was using this one most of the time, this version of it, but I also use the bar chord occasionally. Along with that F major, you don't have to have these, an F major 7, then an F6.
Those add a nice bit of color if you want to learn new shapes.
Next chord is a G, and a couple variations on this that I was using are a G over B, where you're not playing the low G string, you just go in with that B note right there as your lowest note. And then a G over F for a little passing chord too that's toward the end of the song. After that, you need an E minor. You gotta have a B7. And I hate using this version of B7 with a capo because my hand has to kind of come over the capo to make it right. So sometimes I just use this B7. You're gonna need an A minor and a D minor as well.
So this song is in 6/8, and what that means is that for each measure there are 6 beats, and each beat is an 8th note. And so when you're counting out the rhythm, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the strumming pattern for that is really simple if you have that rhythm down. And so you'll have 6 down strums followed by a very quick up strum moving into the next measure. So I'll demonstrate. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1.
And if you want, if that's throwing you off, feel free to just stay all downstrokes on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll sound fine. That'll get you through the entire song.
Yeah.
Okay, the cool thing about this song is almost every chord change gets at least one full bar, one full measure of that strumming pattern. So it's really kind of easy to keep track of where you are. I think the only place that it doesn't do that is that G over B. I think you get a half measure of strumming there. So.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the top and start on your C chord, it's really easy to keep track of where you are. You have 2 measures of C with that strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then a measure F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then back to C for 3 measures. Then G for 1 measure. Then back to C for 2 measures. So that's the first little phrase that you need to work on. Let's play that for them real quickly. Cool.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C. Another C. F for 1 measure. C for 3 measures. Comes the G for 1 measure. And then C for 2 more measures. The next little section is a 6-bar phrase, and you start off back on that C chord again for 2 measures, then an F for 1 measure, then a C for 2 measures, then an E minor for 1 measure, then a B7 for 1 measure, and then an E minor for 2. So like, what I would do is I would take it each section by section for that first, however many bars it was it 9 bars?
Yep.
And then this little 6-bar phrase, or I guess it was a 9-bar too, isn't it?
Yep.
So in groups of 9, there you go.
There you go.
And just work on those little chunks at one time. Let's play the second phrase for them as you sing it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C, another measure of C, F, C for 2 measures, comes the E minor for 1 measure, B7 for 1 measure, E minor for 2. The next little phrase starts off with G for 2 measures, but I like to throw in a G7 for the second measure of G, just because I like the way it sounds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, then a C for 2 measures. And go to G again, and G7 if you want for a second measure, and then C 2 more times for 2 measures. And that's kind of the next little phrase that I would concentrate on. So here it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, G, G7, C, C again, G, G7 if you want, and C for 2 more. And coming down from that, I like to do a little walk down to get into that A minor. So if you're playing a C, you can do it would be, you can think of it a couple different ways. You could think about it as just a walk down. So you're going down to your, what would be a B if you're, with no capo, and then hit that A minor. And if you're doing the fingerstyle, you could roll down. We'll get that later though. From there, that next phrase starts off on the A minor. So that's the first chord you can think about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 2 measures. And then you move to an E minor for 2 measures. Then a D minor for 2 measures. And then an A minor, and here's the weird part, the only weird part in the whole song. You have an A minor for 1.5 measures. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Then you have a G over B for 4, 5, 6. So that's, I would think about that as one phrase or one little section of the song. So go from there. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then A minor again. E minor, 2 measures. D minor for 2. Comes the A minor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. G over B. And then that leads us to kind of the last page. This is a 3-pager, so it's a little bit more involved. And that that G over B walk up is leading you into a C chord. And that's the beginning of the next phrase. So you have a C for 1 measure, a G for 1 measure, back to a C for 1 measure, F for 1 measure, C for 1 measure, G for 1 measure, and then back to C for 2 measures. And that is the second to the last phrase that you have to get down. So let's try it from there. And I'll do the lead in too. So G over B, G, C, F, C, G, C. And that C leads you into a G, which is the starting of the last phrase of the song. And often I like to put in a G over F here, because it gives you that classic sound of the song. But you don't have to, you can stay on the G for 2 measures, and then a C, then an F, then 1 measure of C, 1 measure of G, and then on a C. Cool. One more time, one last little phrase. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. F, and one thing you're going to want to remember as you go through the song is it's kind of just a big crescendo. So you want to start off really slowly, not slowly, softly. And then when you get to that, so just be aware of your dynamics, and that'll make the song a lot more fun to play through and a lot more enjoyable for whoever's singing it and whoever's listening. Now, as far as fingerstyle stuff goes, I made this as dead simple as possible. So like all you have to do is, instead of strumming that dun 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 dun, you have a pattern that goes to the exact same chords that we used, only the pattern here is whatever root note you have that's lowest on your C chord, hit that with your thumb, and just roll up on the high G, B, and high E strings, and then back down B, G. And that's your main pattern for the entire time. So all you have to do is work on getting that down first, and then change it to suit your chords when you move. So if you're playing an F like this, my thumb just moves to the bass note, the lowest bass note that I have here of the root note of the chord, that F. And these fingers stay on the exact same high E, B, and G strings, same exact pattern. And move back to the C. And when you go to the G, thumb moves to the low G note, down the low E string. Pattern doesn't change on top for the fingers at all. Now, if you watch the performance of this, I started off very slowly. I keep saying slowly when I mean softly. Very sparse. But as the crescendo of the song grew and grew, I started to do things like this. Like halfway through, and then finally fall on your knees, that powerhouse, I started moving to something like double time. So those are just some ideas of how you can make it a little more interesting as far as accompanying someone and growing with the dynamics of the song. And when Chelsea's, let's play just instrumentally, just the first part.
Sure.
The intro, and you can hear how it's better, well not better, different, or something that's a little bit nicer than just playing the same chords that she's playing. And the capo gives me a different voicing for this too, which makes it a little bit nicer as well.
Yeah. So I'm actually playing chords within the key of D,
Yeah,
without a capo.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So quiet and a little bit sparse. Maybe a little extra. Okay, now here I'll start picking it up a little bit. Same thing. A big walk down. Some more involved. Okay, so you can see I was just a big crescendo the entire time, and I probably should have started mellowing out the notes, the amount of notes I was playing, like a bar or two earlier, to bring the song back down. But that's a really good example of how to play with another guitar player and come up with a different part using a capo and a little bit different technique, whether it's cross picking or fingerstyle, to play against that person and complement. This is something we do all the time because Chelsea's often singing and hammering out like bar chords, power chords, or open chords. And I'll do something a little bit higher up the neck, but that's something to consider when playing with another guitar player too.
Well, we hope you enjoy playing this song this Christmas. And don't forget, we have resources down in the comments below. So click those to download your chord charts, your jam tracks. And also, if you're a Guitareo member, then make sure to post your video of you playing this song because we'd love to see it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.